Alright, welcome to this video. It's about how to wind walk like a noob. I'm just going to go through my spec, talents, gear, that kind of stuff. Just a bit of a casual look at how I play the windwalker. By no means an expert. I make tons of mistakes all the time. People might just be interested in seeing how I play the way I do. So let's get into it. Talents. Go with Chi Burst. It's the better choice out of all of these, not just because of its damage, but it gives you extra Chi. Anything that gives you extra Chi means you can do more damage. That's important. Tiger's Lust. Occasionally, some fights you might go Chi Torpedo because you need to get more ground gained in a particular instance. But most of the time, pretty much all the time, Tiger's Lust. It is beneficial too because you can put it on somebody else, gets you out of snares and stuff. I find getting out of snares, especially when you're getting iced by Jaina all the time, breaking those snares, really, really important. You can put it on other people, but I'm selfish, I never do that. Fists of the White Tiger. It gives you 3 Chi. It's basically like an extra Tiger Palm. It's slightly cheaper. Obviously it's on a 30-second cooldown and Tiger Palm is not. So essentially just kind of use it to do like an extra special Tiger Palm every 30 seconds. It does have a little bit of damage attached to it, which isn't that great, but overall it is the best option. Good Karma allows you to heal the damage that you take and redirects 100% of the damage taken. That's been nerfed like pretty hard recently, but it's still decent. You used to be able to like do pretty much your whole health pool. Nowadays it's only, I don't know, like 60% of it or something like that. Better than nothing. Really good survival ability. Plus, if you time it with things like your Touch of Death so that you're getting more damage placed onto the boss during that time, you can get yourself a little bit of extra damage, which is pretty good. I know a lot of people run Ring of Peace, especially in Mythic Plus dungeons. The survivability of Good Karma is really hard to sort of go past. I use Diffuse Magic. The only reason why I don't use Dampen Harm is because, well, I'm using Good Karma, so there's kind of no point really having two things that go and reduce the same kind of damage anyway. This allows me to get magic as well. It's in a slightly lower cooldown, and there's lots of magic stuff that goes around, so I find that that's more useful. Zuen, yep. It used to be Rushing Jade Wind at the start, but they nerfed that massively now, so it's not worth it anymore. Zuen's the way to go. Whirling Dragon Punch on the last tier. I do have a number of weak auras. It's the same kind of deal as all the other stuff though. It's basically just to try and keep track of timers and how things are going and see what's going on there with my bits and pieces. And my gear. I'm running with 3 open palm strikes, so there's an open palm strikes on each piece of gear. I'm running 1 Dance of Chi, 1 Fury of Zuen, and 1 Glory of the Dawn. It's a pretty good setup. It gives you a little bit of everything. The reason why I'm stacking open palm strikes is because not of the 5% chance to refund 1 Chi, because that goes off like once every raid boss. It's kind of pretty pathetic. Doesn't really do anything, and it doesn't stack. Having 3 stacks of it doesn't mean that I get 15% chance. It's still just 5% chance for 1 Chi. It's all about the damage. So it busts my Fist of Fury, and Fist of Fury is my biggest attacking ability. It's the thing that does the most damage. So anything that can buff that further is very worthwhile. So overall, I'm doing close to 7k extra, well, 9k, close to 9k extra damage with my Fist of Fury, and because of course it's also my highest AoE ability too, it just doubles up. It's good in all situations. Outside of that, I'm stacking Mastery as much as I can, and then I've got some Versatility as well, if I can stack that up too. You'll see on some specs online that they say Versatility is the thing you want to spec the most, and not Mastery. Mastery's sort of second. I disagree. They say that Versatility affects more of your abilities, and that's true, it does. Marginally, not by a great percent, very marginally, it affects more of your abilities, and both of them essentially are just buffing by a percentage the damage that you do. However, Mastery stacks so much higher, so more easily. So I can get 34% from having, you know, not even twice as much Mastery or Versatility. So I can get a lot more damage by stacking Mastery than I can by stacking Versatility. The trick, of course, with the Mastery is to just make sure that you're not hitting the same button twice in a row. But because we're not running with hit combo anymore, it used to be the way to go. It's not anymore, so we're going with UN. It means that my Mastery really doesn't have that big of an impact. I can't sort of break my Mastery and then end up going for having to rebuild it back up again. So if I hit one button twice in a row, it just means that that second button does a little bit less damage. But then as soon as I hit the next button again, I'm straight back to doing my damage like normal. And because most of what we do are on cooldowns anyway, you can't hit them twice in a row. It's pretty hard to sort of mess that up. I do sometimes, like it's just at the very beginning of a fight, I'll hit Tiger Palm twice just to get my little energy bar, my chi up. That's it. That's for my add-ons. Decursive, so that's down the bottom. It's always good to be able to help out decursing things in dungeons and raids. The healers have got enough to do anyway. Energy Watch, that just puts my little bubbles and stuff down the bottom, so I'm not always looking up the top screen. Combo bar does come up, so if I've ever had to hit something and run away and I've forgotten what my last attack was, I can just see what I have been doing. But like I said before, with Mastery, the way that it is, and not running hit combo, it's not that big of a deal. I don't actually run Omen. You see there, it's turned off. I basically generate very little threat anyway, so it's not a problem. Recount, threat plates, just lets me see whether I've got threat. That can be important for when AoEing mobs down, but in a raid boss, it's not something I need to worry about. Weak auras, looked at that already. Daily boss mods. Cool. All right. I do actually have a flask still on from the end of the raid last night. It's not going to make that big of a difference. Let's jump in and see what kind of damage I can do. I'm going to start off with a little bit of a rotation, but it's probably not the rotation that most monks do. And at the very beginning of a fight is pretty much the only time I ever do a rotation. Other than that, it's pretty much just trying to hit whatever you can when it's up. If two things are up at the same time, I tend to prioritize whatever does the most damage or whatever is going to fit inside the window, because some things get locked out. So at the beginning, I'll hit my Storm, Earth and Fire. I'll hit my UN, Touch of Death, and my Trinket. I'll make sure that I've got some combo points up to begin with. Got some chi ready to go. And then I'll basically go Fist of Fury, Rising Sun Kick. That will then make Whirling Dragon Punch available. Fist of the White Tiger, and then a Blackout Kick, and that will make Touch of Death go off. And then it's basically just what is available. You just kind of, you're not hitting two buttons at the same time, one after another. Just try and weave in and out. Spinning Crane Kick I use in two ways. One, if it procs, because I have that as a right talent, I'll hit it. Or if I need a filler, because there's just nothing else that I can do, I'll hit it. It's a little bit the same with Chi Burst. It doesn't cost anything to cast, so that's good. And it does give me 1 Chi. Maximum will give me 2 on an AoE pack. But on a boss it'll only give me 1. It's just worth something. I try and make sure that I'm not capping my energy. So I'm not channeling like a Fist of Fury where my energy's at 100. You try and channel Fist of Fury when your energy is low so that you're doing damage while your energy is regenerating. And I try not to get capped on the other end where I can't do anything because I don't have enough energy to cast. And just before we start, it is probably worth noting that Blackout Kick, when it's used, it does reduce the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury. So when things are on cooldown and you need to do some fillers, it's worth, I just got to dance between the two of Tiger's Palm and Blackout Kick, cycling maybe a Chi Burst in there, back to a Blackout Kick so that I can try and keep the timers of these reducing down. Yeah, alright, we'll see how we go. Yeah, that's basically it. 24.5k, not a bad effort. Alright, on to some AoE. This is kind of where the Windwalker shines a bit more. One of the things I'll be trying to do at the start is popping my Storm, Earth and Fire, which should automatically increase my Spinning Crane stacks. On the target dummies it doesn't work so well, and the stacks on the Spinning Crane keep falling off rather quickly. But in a combat situation, in dungeons and stuff like that, those stacks don't just drop off like that. So it's just a training dummy kind of issue. The other thing to note though is that if I don't have Storm, Earth, Fire up, then I will cycle through sort of like a Tiger's Palm, Blackout Kick, Tiger's Palm, Blackout Kick as I tab through the different mobs. And so it's just like 1, 2, 1, 2 very quickly, and then my Spinning Crane Kick will be at, well, 4 for this example because there's only 4 adds. But I could get it to 5 by hitting another target if I wanted to. Let's just see how it goes. That's it. That's kind of how you do it. Now just weave in and out. Not too fussed. Spinning crane kick's great when it procs because it does more damage. Fist of Fury does a lot of damage. Still need to do a rising sun kick somewhere along the line so that you can get a whirling dragon punch in. And then I just kind of weave between the Tiger's Palm and spinning crane kick, and you see how you go. Cool.